Hello. Another little drive with some tin blab. I'm driving back from Auburn. I went to the music store. Once again, during what I would consider normal business hours. Got there about 3:30 Saturday afternoon. And the store is closed. Again, it was closed yesterday. Maybe the man's sick, who knows. It's a small, old family-run music store. So I'm riding down back home on the other side of the lake. Casawasco Lake is to my right, turning my left. And this is not so much the scenic drive, but kind of the faster way. I generally prefer the other side of the lake. There's the lake again. Oops. Yeah, at one end of the lake is Moravia. At the other end of the lake is Auburn, New York. And I want to talk about this old movie. It's like from 1999. And it's called Joshua. And it was based on a series of books written by a Catholic priest, Father Joseph Gerzoni. Gerzone, but I think you would say Gerzoni. Wrote these 3 books, Joshua, that my mother liked a lot, and really back in those years was really loved it. And this priest lived in Auburn, which is the town I'm leaving, when he wrote these books. And they made a movie, Joshua, based on the first of these books that he wrote. And it's set in Auburn, like I said, but it starts out, it's fictional, but it starts out with Jesus Christ walking up this road that I'm driving down, Route 38, walking back the way I came from to Auburn. And I always said, well, yeah, it means Jesus Christ came from Moravia, because that's at the other end of this road. So, but I'm not, that's just the movie and the books. It's a lovely area here, it really is. But I recommend that wholeheartedly, this series. It's a really old movie, and honestly, it's very endearing. It can be a tearjerker in a good way in places where Jesus Christ, it's set where Jesus Christ comes here back to earth in modern day, which modern day back then it would have been around the year 2000 or so when this movie came out. And he goes to this town and he encounters all kinds of people, and the church gets involved with him. That's Catholic Church, and he winds up at the end of the movie going to the Vatican. And it's a really good movie. I highly recommend it. But you've got to give it some license in that, in my opinion, it's kind of cheesy in a few places. Cheesy, I don't mean cheesy. It's not cheesy, but the plot is, some of the parts are kind of like a man falls off a ladder while building a church, and the people lay him out, on a table inside this rustic church they're rebuilding. And Jesus heals him, or Joshua in this movie heals him. I don't mean to be a plot spoiler, but that's not really drives the plot, it's just part of it. Like, he performs a lot of miracles. And, me being critical, I'm like, why didn't they call 911? This guy's fallen off a ladder, he's dead. But yet he's been laying there. It seemed like he was laying there for an hour or so before Joshua goes in and heals him and brings him back to life. And I'm like, all right, it was a good scene, it was a good scene, but then again, I'm like, what didn't fit in is why didn't they, this is supposedly modern times, where's the ambulance, where's the police? But all in all, I really highly recommend it, if you don't mind it being an older movie, Joshua. And even though Jesus, who was Joshua in this, the movie starts out with him walking on this road that I'm driving on right now to Auburn, which I just left. Again, trying to get to the music store, and they're closed. I hope everybody's all right. But the movie is definitely not set. It's set right here where I'm driving on Route 38 to Auburn, which connects my town to Auburn. But it definitely wasn't filmed here. It looks like California. Not here. So, of course, I live here, so I'm like, well, that's not Route 38, and that definitely doesn't look like Auburn. So I just thought I would give a shout out to that movie, and I'll put a link to whatever I can find on YouTube on this, some clips. I highly recommend it. It's very good. Father Joseph Gersoni, I imagine he might not even be around anymore. I don't know. But he wrote the book series, Joshua. He also wrote a book that I liked called Never Alone. And in that, he talks about at length how you find yourself alone in life, but you're never really alone. And I remember he said, if you end your life, you live out a life here, you'd be lucky if you could count on one hand true friends that have stayed true to you. And, but you're never alone. You've got God's Holy Spirit and presence with you. That's what that book's about, Never Alone. I remember I read that years ago. I liked it. So, yeah, it's Spano's music. Auburn's a nice town. It's an old town for American standards. Had a lot of Italian and different ethnic groups settled that years ago. You can still see the influence. Ukrainians, Italians, Irish, in central New York. And I like Auburn. It's changing fast like everywhere. But Spano's Music, that store's been around for a while. I mean, they used to do accordion repair there. You wouldn't know this, but there are very, very, very few places in the United States that will repair your accordion, because it's just not a big instrument here, not anymore, but it used to be. And the guy that used to do, he's still got a web page. He was an older man, 80 or so, to do accordion repair. He's no longer alive, but his web page is still up. I called the number. I got one of his children. They said, no, he's been gone. But Spano's Music's a really old music store. But, they're competing with online sales. I think a lot of their business is instrument repair and setting up instruments like guitars and different things, hands-on stuff that you can't do, online. Like get your instrument repaired, and they give music lessons there. I don't think the business drives so much from musical instrument sales anymore, but services. But they haven't been there the past couple days, and I hope they're all right. Next time I'll call first. So that said, now up here a little ways, another Christian thing is a place called Camp Casawasco. And the lake to my left down over the hill, you can't see it anymore, is Owasco Lake. And Camp Casawasco, you know what? Just for the video's sake, I might just drive down there. I got a little time. It's getting dark. But my mom took me there a long time ago when we didn't even live around here, when I was a kid. And I remember that. And I never thought that I'd wind up living here, because this was about a good 70 miles away from where we lived. But it's a Christian camp. It's been around since like the 1920s. And it was made by one of the first people that invented motion pictures. owned this property, and he sold it to the Methodist Church. There's the sign. Camp Casawasco, Camp Conference and Retreat Center, Upper New York area of the United Methodist Church. Take a little drive down here. But they've got some cabins. They've got halls where you can meet, and you have dinner, and people stay here for days, weeks, and all of this is Camp Casawasco. I haven't been here in a long time. I have good memories from here. From my childhood, I was here during a hurricane. Actually, they killed a lot of people in the Northeast along Hurricane Agnes. It almost killed me, actually, after I left here, but it really wiped this area out. It was a rare thing for a hurricane to hit this region. I think it was the last time this region ever had something like that. But my family used to gather here for family reunions years ago. Things that my mother set up. And this place isn't cheap. Oh, dear. Yeah, it's not cheap. I mean, not wicked expensive. You have to make reservations. They've got a dining hall. They'll cook your breakfast, lunch, and dinner where you all can meet. Like, great for church people to gather and family reunions. A Christian place, they don't want any partying or anything like that here. So, we're getting down towards the bottom here where the lake is. My brother got married down here too, I remember, in the chapel. Really, it's a nice place. This is all the buildings, the lodges. They're all named like after things in the Bible, like Galilee House and stuff like that. Welcome Center. I haven't been down here in a few years. And these are all little lodges you can stay in. And it's on the lake shore. You know, you can rent boats. Wesley Lodge. It's Methodist Church owns it. I think they're closed now. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Except for caretakers. I'm just going to turn around. There's the chapel up ahead on the lake shore. Yeah, they look closed. That's the chapel. It's got some beautiful acoustics in there and stained glass, looking out at the lake. And there's the original house that belonged to the guy. He made his money very early in filmmaking. That's it. And that's where my family used to get together for reunions. They're all gone. No, I don't want to hang out here. It's called that's the Galilee Lodge. Yeah, people may wonder what I'm doing. Alright, I'm gonna head out. You can see they got a place there with a cross, probably for people to get baptized. Really nice clear water here. That's where you eat. That's the dining hall. Alright. And that's it, Camp Casawasco. I'll spell it out in the description. That's called Lakeview Chapel. Okay. Because you have Lakeview. Highly recommend this place. For what it is, you know. I think individuals can come here for Christian retreat as well. You have to call and ask, but they'll set you up with a place to stay and your meals. But I think it's mostly for groups. But I haven't been here in a long time. I mean, to stay. The last time I was here was probably 20 years ago with my mom. We had a family reunion here. Everybody had a wonderful time. Wonderful time. And we will again. We'll have that family reunion where there is no goodbyes. Unless it's goodbye, I'm going to go do God's work somewhere. But I'll be coming back home to my loved ones. No, I've got good memories of this place. Not a lot. I mean, I've only been here about 3 times. 3 or 4 times, actually. But all were those kinds of events that were wholesome Christian events and leaves you feeling good inside kind of things. Not like, gatherings for parties, which I'm no stranger to. And, everybody has a good time, but it doesn't really leave you feeling good inside. Like a Christian gathering, a Christian event, a family reunion kind of thing. A family reunion where the God, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit are invited. That is the kind of event that will leave you feeling really good inside. Even to this day, just driving down there brought it back. And no, I'm not going to get soppy or any sappy. All right, I'll tell you a little funny story here. And that'll be the conclusion of this video. Something that happened to me about 15 years ago. Driving up this road. Going the other way, going towards Auburn. And I'm headed to Moravia this way. But I'm driving. This car coming with the headlights. I'm coming that way, and it was right around here. And I've encountered an odd thing in the road, and that was a man chasing a horse down the middle of this road. And they were right in the middle of the road, the horse and the man behind it. And the man was really angry, yelling at the horse to stop. He was having a hard time. And the horse would stop, and I'm just driving slow behind this, looking at this spectacle. The horse would stop running in the middle of the road here, and then the guy would come up with a rope and try to put it around the horse's neck, and the horse would let him get about 2 steps away, and the horse would run off again. And then man would go running after it, and the horse would stop, and this went on and on. And the guy was really angry, and I drove up next to the guy, and I rolled my window down, and I said, "Get on, jump on the hood of my car," right? And he did. So he's sitting on the hood of my car in front of like where the driver's, right in front of me. And I'm driving slow with him sitting on the front of my car. And we got up to the horse right next to it, and he jumped off and got a rope around that horse's neck. And he yelled, "Thanks." And I said, "No problem," and I drove off. I'm thinking, oh, that was pretty neat, pretty cool, and it was kind of funny, and I helped him out. And I looked in my rearview mirror, and the horse got away from him. And I saw this horse running off the road and across the field with that man running after it still. That was pretty funny. I thought that was good 15 years ago. I'd say 15 years ago, yeah, about that. So, I guess that's about all. Tim Blab for now. Before long, hopefully, God willing, I'll be doing my other usual formal routine with the candles and all. I got a number of things that I would enjoy talking about. And I do appreciate having an audience, even if it's just one of you. It's not a, my views went down considerably, and I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't bother me at all, if you can believe that. I didn't start this channel, with trying to, with any ego thing, trying to make a large following or something, or trying to make some money. I'm a storyteller, and I like to talk to people, and I'm alone in life for whatever reason God has, and this is a good venue for me to commune with people, whoever they may be. And I heartily recommend it, doing this. And if nobody watches your videos, don't take it personal. I'm lucky I've got you all. I'm very lucky, grateful too. I knew a guy that had really good content, a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a while. Very good entertainer, good musician, good singer, good storyteller. He didn't get one single person other than people he knew watching his channel. None. And it's not easy, because there's hundreds of millions of videos out there now, growing every day. So it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack a lot of times. So I do recommend it. If nothing else, it can be like a scrapbook for yourself and your family to share, images and thoughts that will be around as long as the internet is. The internet goes bye-bye, all this disappears. It's going to disappear anyway. All things of this earth are passing. Okay. Well, yeah, it brings it to my left. There used to be a house that's no longer there, and it was dilapidated and falling in. Talk about disappearing. Dilapidated and falling in years ago. And somebody I knew back then went through there and just rummaging through the stuff, and they bulldozed it, burned it, and bulldozed it down. So he didn't take anything out of there that anybody wanted. But he gave me a few boxes of really old photographs from some family from, like, I'd say 1870 to maybe 1940. And you know what? Those people are all gone, and all their images they took of themselves, and their letters and cards. I had all of it. Letters, cards, photographs, 2 boxes worth. They're in my basement, except for some of them. Letters that had an address and a name on it. I actually found the family that still lives around here. And the letters and cards were from the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. And some of them were World War II letters and things, writing home. And I did get those back to this. The man was in a nursing home. And this was about 10 years ago. And I found this guy, George Hildreth, and he was in a nursing home. And his son and nephew were there. I gave this stuff to them and explained where it came from. And they weren't angry. They were very grateful to get this stuff. They were really, wow, So, all right. This has been a long Tim Blab session driving back from Auburn. Signing out. What do we got here? Somebody walking their dogs. Hello. I've got to go to work tonight. Yes, I've got to go to work. I got to get ready for work. All right, signing out.